The diner was buzzing with the quiet rhythm of clinking dishes and muted chatter. A single dad, wearing a neatly pressed apron over his worn shirt, moved carefully between tables, balancing plates and cups with the practiced ease of someone who had spent years serving strangers while raising a child on his own. He smiled at regulars, nodded at newcomers, and kept his eyes moving, always attentive, always patient. The sheriff walked in like he owned the place. Boots tapping on the tile, badge glinting under the fluorescent lights, gun at his hip. His eyes scanned the room, landing on the waiter with an unmistakable look of contempt. Patrons instinctively shifted, sensing tension in the air. Something was about to happen. The waiter approached the counter with a cup of coffee. "Here's your refill, sir," he said politely, keeping his tone even. The sheriff snorted. "What's with the slow service, huh?" He slapped the cup lightly, spilling coffee onto the counter. "Do you even know how to do your job?" The waiter's jaw tightened. He'd dealt with rude customers before, but the sheriff carried a different kind of intimidation, a uniform, a badge, and the belief that authority gave him the right to humiliate anyone at will. "I'm doing my best, sir," the waiter replied, calm but firm. The sheriff leaned closer. "Your best isn't good enough," he snapped. Then, without warning, he raised his hand and slapped the waiter across the cheek. The sound echoed unnervingly through the diner. Silence fell instantly. Customers froze mid-bite, some gasping, some gripping their phones to capture the scene. Behind the counter, the single dad's hands shook, not with fear, but with restrained anger. He wasn't about to escalate recklessly, not in front of witnesses, but the sting of humiliation and disbelief ran deep. From the back of the diner, a man had been watching, Navy SEAL, mid-30s, casually dressed, calm and unassuming, but trained to notice even the smallest imbalance in a threatening situation. His eyes tracked every move the sheriff made, every flinch of the waiter, every whisper of tension from the patrons. The sheriff smirked, thinking he had the room under control. "What's the matter? Cat got your tongue?" he sneered. The SEAL moved forward slowly, deliberately, each step measured. Patrons instinctively shifted, giving him space, sensing authority without aggression. He stopped a few feet from the counter, eyes locked on the sheriff. "That's enough," he said, calm, controlled, and unmistakably commanding. The sheriff spun, surprised. "And you are?" "A witness, and someone who knows the consequences of abusing power." The sheriff laughed nervously, though it came out forced. "You're threatening me?" "No," the SEAL said. "I'm telling you to stop." The sheriff's face reddened, pride clashing with reality. He took a step closer, trying to intimidate. "Back off, citizen," he barked. The SEAL didn't move. He didn't flinch. He simply remained calm, letting the weight of his presence do the talking. Every muscle relaxed, yet every gesture spoke of discipline. The sheriff's anger boiled, but the SEAL's calm presence made it clear. Any further aggression would be noticed, recorded, and consequences would follow. Patrons whispered, some recording with phones, some just watching with wide eyes. The diner felt smaller, the tension heavier. The single dad waited, jaw tight, heart racing, but he stayed still. He had learned long ago that losing control could make a situation far worse. He trusted that the man standing between him and the sheriff knew exactly what he was doing. "Step away," the SEAL said again, voice low, steady, no room for argument. The sheriff hesitated. Pride wrestled with reason. He glanced around. Cameras, witnesses, the quiet, unwavering stare of a man trained to act if necessary. His confidence faltered. Before he could react, the SEAL subtly moved closer, just enough to block any attempt to grab or push. The sheriff's hand twitched, then froze. He realized the room had shifted. Authority wasn't on his side anymore. The diner manager stepped forward, hands raised. "Sir, please calm down. This is a public place." The sheriff swallowed hard, trying to regain composure. I'm the law here," he said, though it sounded hollow. The SEAL's eyes didn't leave him. "Not here, not now, not over him," he said, gesturing slightly toward the waiter. Sirens wailed faintly in the distance. Someone had called ahead. Backup was arriving. The sheriff's attempts to dominate the room were crumbling. His chest heaved, his face drained of color. Every eye in the diner was on him. By the time the patrol officers arrived, the sheriff was subdued, led outside with no fight left in him. Phones captured every second, cameras rolling, evidence undeniable. Patrons breathed again. The single dad straightened, relief washing over him, knowing he was safe. The SEAL finally spoke to the waiter quietly. "You're okay?" Yes, thank you," the waiter replied, voice trembling but steady. The SEAL gave a subtle nod. He didn't stay for recognition. His job was done. Calm, decisive, and without spectacle, he had ensured justice, protected the innocent, and reminded everyone in that small diner of one undeniable truth: abuse of power is always temporary when courage and discipline are present. Hours later, video footage spread online. Comments poured in, outrage at the sheriff, admiration for the SEAL, and respect for the single dad who endured humiliation with dignity. Internal Affairs opened an immediate investigation. The sheriff was suspended pending review. The story went viral, a modern cautionary tale of arrogance meeting accountability. The diner returned to its rhythm eventually, but the lesson lingered. Courage often doesn't shout. Strength doesn't rely on fists. Real authority, real respect, and true justice reveal themselves in moments like these, silent, decisive, and impossible to ignore.